Hey, how's it going? I wondered this morning, how did it go? How did things go for you when you packed your children off to school? Did you get lots of yeses? Was there enthusiastic cooperation with everything you wanted to do? Were there some no's? Was there maybe just like plausible deniability, maybe just ignoring and not answering at all? This week we're going to talk about no, and we're going to begin at the beginning. We're going to look at that no, and we're going to look at all the choices we have in that moment. But before we even react, let's talk about the way we talk to ourselves when we first hear that no. So I'm going to use an example that I found this morning. It's not uncommon for me to hear a no from my kids when we're trying to get out the door. But today it was a little bit more dramatic because we said, okay guys, it's time to get out the door. And my son just lay on the bed and he just looked at the ceiling and he didn't move at all. So, to be perfectly honest, I kind of went through a bit of a process before I approached him. So, let me know if this is you. What I was thinking was, he's not listening, he doesn't respect me, he's not obedient, we're gonna be late for school. There's all these responses that I had in that moment that sort of maybe could have raised my stress level a little bit, could have caused me to react in a way that's more controlling, more pushy. But fortunately, he's still little, like he's 6, but I can still look at him and see this kid who's sort of helpless in some ways, and I felt like I was able in that moment to we'd had a really positive morning up to that point actually, so I was able to put aside some of the worrisome thoughts, and I just stopped and I tried to kind of look at things from his point of view, like, why is he lying there? So I sat beside him and I said, hey buddy, how you feeling? Nothing. So I didn't give up there. Often, well, you know what it's like, especially if you have men in your life that don't talk readily. Sometimes they need a little bit of encouraging. So we tried the body language route. I said, how are you feeling right now? And he actually took my hand and he showed me like this. And I thought, okay, we have a point of connection. We kind of understand each other. I don't really know why he's upset right now, but I know that he's not saying no to my request to leave because he thinks that I'm a useless parent or he's a dreadfully disagreeable kid. He's just having a moment, so let's figure out what it is. So I pushed him a little bit and, okay, what's this? What's this all about? He said, I don't want to go to school. Now, here's another set of choices. Because if, what do I do? Do I just agree with him? Oh, sure, fine, you don't have to go to school, that's fine with me. That's actually not an option, right? Because we all have things to do. So we can respond in different ways. There's definitely the logical option, like I could sort of try to appeal to him, well, you have to go to school. That's the rule. You have to go to school. And, well, you've met kids and you know that logic is not always their number one priority, so I kind of skipped that one on the list. And then the next thing I could do is I could sort of flex my muscles and say like, well, if you don't want to go to school, that's too bad. It's not your decision, it's my decision, and I decided that you have to go to school, so you go to school because I say so. But we understand each other well enough by now that this sort of power game doesn't usually end very well. I think some kids are very open to that sort of firm, oh really, I don't have a choice? Okay, I'll go along with it. Other kids will double down, and that just isn't a very helpful approach. So what did we actually do? I think I realized that he hadn't really been talking a lot up to that point. He wasn't really up to maybe explaining all the different nuances. So I just sort of imitated him a little bit. I didn't say very much. I just sort of went, and read his body language a little bit, and he looked at me like he was a little bit excited. And I picked up my gigantic senior kindergarten kid and just held him. And we took a few steps toward the door, and he looked at me and said, can you carry me down the stairs? And I said, no, I can't. I'm scared I'm gonna drop you. But I didn't want to put him down just yet. He just, he wasn't ready. He was sort of like, we had this moment where I just wanted to let him know, like, it's okay to feel uncomfortable, it's okay, I'm not gonna push you. So we had a little cuddle standing there at the top of the stairs. He's so close to being a big grown-up kid, but he just needs, I think, that snuggle. So we had that moment together. And I think when I felt like, okay, he's ready, I'll just put him down a little bit. So he went off to school, and we didn't actually end up talking. We didn't like solve the problem. We didn't solve the problem about why he doesn't want to go to school. And we didn't solve the problem of why didn't you say yes when I said it was time to go. So there's still more work to do, for sure. Like, I don't want him to be worried about going to school, and I would love for him to be more vocal when I say it's time to go to school. I would love for him to say yes or mom, and then give me a reason. So that's our next step. We can definitely work on more communication. I think this is hard for some parents because they're sort of taught when you give an instruction, you expect cooperation, and if you don't get cooperation, then you have to go to a series of consequences. But sometimes our kids may be missing some of the skills that they need to tell us what they're looking for in that moment. So if you need to be gentle with your kids, that's okay. That's okay. You can go back and say, why didn't it work out the way I was expecting? What can I teach them? And you'll do the teaching ahead of time. You'll say, hey, remember this morning when you didn't want to go to school? Do you remember why? Okay, next time when I say it's time to go to school, what are you going to say? So you can kind of practice it, and you can rehearse it. You're probably going to get more conversation, more cooperation in those conversations than when everything is on the line, like tick, 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 it's time for us to go, you have to listen to me, school is right around the corner and I don't know what the problem is, but I'm going to make you do this. Problems don't really get solved there, skills don't really get learned when you're in the middle of that stuff. So if you need to be gentle with your child in those moments, that's okay. It's okay. Sometimes no can mean a lot of different things. So that's just the conversation I'm opening this week. I'm really interested to hear your thoughts. What do you do when, like, can you relate to that when you hear no, that whole sort of panicky feeling? And what are the things that help you when you actually don't know how to get through that situation? Okay, so let's just talk. We're going to spend the week talking, and then next week we'll talk a little bit more about what to do next. Okay, bye.